Hello, Juja is here. In this practice today, we will concentrate on the back of the body, more specifically to a muscle called erector spinae. Actually, it's a muscle group which is on the two sides of your spine. Sometimes one side of this muscle, on one side of the spine, this muscle group can be more developed than on the other side. And in this situation, in this imaginary situation today, the left side will be the more developed one, okay? So if you are in the same situation, then just follow the video. If you are in a situation that the right side is more developed, please, when I say left, you work on the right. When I say right, you work on the left. If your muscles are kind of equal, in this case, do a little bit more repetition on one side, a little bit more repetition on the other side, but don't repeat one side. The reason why the muscle on one side can be more developed, maybe you have sciatica, or maybe you do something every day. Let's say, think about tennis. If you play again and again and you're using the same hand, you overdeveloping muscle on one side. And maybe not just playing tennis, maybe you do something at the table, or all of these little everyday habits which we are not really aware, then create unbalance in our body, or keeping a bag always on the same side, a very heavy bag, not just. The props what we need today, you might need a brick or block. Again, if you don't have, use books at home, or you don't use at all. A blanket is nice if you have something underneath your knee, because we will spend lots of time on knees. If you have a chair next to you, please try not to use chair with the wheels, because it's a really bad idea. And or if you have a table or a sofa or something, feel free to use them. Or at the end of the practice, if you have a little massage ball at home, I'm not recommending tennis ball because I think it's a bit too much, it's too harsh. You can use this little ball, or if you have anything which is a little bit harder, a little bit higher than a piece of paper, you can use it, even a soap of bar. Feel free to be creative props wise. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope the practice will be beneficial for you. I'm very curious what is your experience, so feel free to leave a message for me underneath the video, or send me a private message. Thank you very much. Enjoy the practice. Namaste. So let's start the practice lying down on our back. So lie down on your back, bring your knees next to the chest. Just rest your hands on your knees, on your shins. Feel free to rock side to side. Make sure your lower back is not lifted like this. Press the lower back into the floor. Try to keep it nice and flat, and draw some circles with your knees. It's beautiful to massage your lower back, and if you have unbalance anywhere, it helps to realize where is the unbalance muscle-wise. Change the direction of the circles. Just really enjoy, just really feel. Any moment, anything is good for you in the practice, or you feel I need a little bit more of this, and I just run to the next position, feel free to stop the video and stay a little bit longer. Just choose one posture you like and practice during the day, anytime. Rest your hands on your knees, on your shins, lower back nice and flat, breathing in. And as you exhale, just relax your shoulders, relax your neck, relax the facial muscles. Just feel the back of the body on the floor. In this theoretical situation, when the muscles on the left side of the spine, the left erector spinae, is more developed, maybe you feel a little bit more sensation, a little bit more pressure. Just acknowledge, or maybe your muscles are exactly the same and you feel nothing particular, that's fine. Just breathe, stay there for 3 breaths. 3 breaths. Every exhale, your knees getting closer and closer to the chest. And use this a little time to find your intention for the practice, if you wish. It's nice to start the day with the intention, nice to start the practice with an intention. You can use your practice or basically anything in life as an offering. And whenever we are going through more challenging situation, remind yourself this discomfort is offered for certain issues, for certain projects, for certain people. This is your offering, this discomfort, this breath, this practice, this time. And as you exhale, lower both feet on the floor. Keep your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. And as you exhale, arms in any position. And as you exhale, lower your knees towards one side. Turn your head towards the opposite direction. Inhale, knees back to the center. And as you exhale, knees on the other side. Do it 2 more times on each side. And feel which direction gives you more sensation. In this theoretical situation, when the muscles on the left side of the spine are more developed, probably you feel more sensation as you're lowering your knees to the right side. Just watch what is your truth. And now we will stay 3 breaths on the side where you have more sensation. So I will lower my knees to the right side because we pretend that the left side of the erector spinae has more tension, more developed. But if you have the opposite case, keep your knees on the left. Or if your muscles are balanced, choose one side, doesn't matter. As you see, I placed my right foot on the top of my left knee, on the left thigh. If you feel your body happy to go a little bit deeper, go for it and just do the same as I'm doing. Otherwise, feel free to keep both feet on the floor. Both knees traveling down towards the floor. Stay there for the breath. And change the side. Come back to the center and lower both knees to the opposite direction. Again, if you want, stay as you are, both feet on the floor, or left foot on the top of your right knee, right thigh. Change the side and let's go back to the previous side. There you have a little bit more stretch. Lower your knees again. If you're working with equal muscles, then stay a little bit longer on one side and stay a little bit longer on the other side. The postures are the same for you, but of course you don't need to create balance because your muscles are balanced. One more breath there. And slowly lower both feet on the floor, knees pointing towards the sky. And again, bring your knees close to the chest. Just rest your hands on your knees, on your shins. Stay there for a breath or two. And now we are moving into half bridge position. So both feet on the floor, hip width apart. Heels relatively close to the bum. Arms alongside of your body. As your arms alongside of your body, you might be able to touch your heels. And as you're breathing in, lift your bum, lower back, middle back, upper back. peeling the spine off the floor. And as you exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae, really try to count your vertebrae. Lower the spine on the floor. That's it. Let's do it 2 more times. Let's add the arms this time. Inhale. Lift your lower back, middle back, upper back. Lift your arms up towards the sky and arms alongside of your ears. And lower down, lower down, lower down. Just feel the muscles, just feel the vertebrae. Good. And one more time. Feet pressing into the floor. Lift, 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 lift. And lower down. Imagine you have an invisible beach ball between your knees. Squeeze this invisible beach ball between your knees. You're activating the inner thigh muscles. And lift and lift and lift. And though I said previous time that this is the last one, this is the last, but we will hold this time, okay? So press the feet into the floor, your chin pointing towards the sky. Squeezing the invisible beach ball. And just stay there for 3 more breaths. You're lifting the bum. Now might be you feel that the hamstrings, the buttocks and the lower back are working. The muscles may be trembling. Don't worry too much. If you're getting tired any moment, anytime, please just release everything, okay? Just lower down. Otherwise, stay there, breathe there, 1 more breath. Beautiful, and slowly lower the spine on the floor, arms on the floor. And bring your knees close to the chest. Just breathe. And we are moving to all 4 positions, so if you want, just roll up and come into seated pose, and from there all 4, or roll onto your side and come into all 4 position. We will need a brick for this position, or again, if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. Come into child pose, open your knees a little bit wider and place your hands on the brick. And slowly lower your forehead on the floor. If you find is it too much for you, just keep your hands on the floor. It's perfectly fine. Just stay there for 2 breaths. And again, we will work stretching the muscles, the erector spinae. So again, I will start on the right side because I want to stretch the muscle on the left side. So slowly move the brick to the right side and try to lower the left armpit towards the floor. Left armpit traveling towards the floor, and watch you have maybe a little bit more sensation. If you want to feel even more, you can place the left hand on the top of the right arm. Stay there for 3 breaths. Long inhale, long exhale. Imagine you breathing into the area where you feel the stretch is happening. And lengthen your exhale, lengthen your exhale, soften everything. Stay there for the breath. Nice. And slowly bring the block back to the center, your arms back to the center. And other side, left side. Again, place your hands into the brick. And if you feel comfortable, of course, rest your right hand on the brick. And just breathe. Again, if you find yourself in a position that your right shoulder is turning up towards the sky, try to bring it down towards the floor. Your right armpit is traveling towards the floor. Just always take your time to stretch. Always take your time to lengthen. One breath in. And change the side one more time. Let's go back to the more unbalanced side, or the side which need a little bit more stretch. Back to the right side. Again, don't forget left shoulder blade, left armpit traveling towards the floor. Stay there for 2 more breaths. Exhaling out. Make your breath nice and long. And with the next breath, slowly release your hands. Walk your hands back to the center. We don't need the brick for now. And from this position, we are moving into cat and cow pose. So keep your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hip. And as you're breathing in, drop the belly button, roll the shoulders back. Lengthen the front of the neck, lift the chin. And as you exhale, round your spine. Head is just heavy, someone pushing your belly button up towards the sky. Inhale again, arch, drop the belly button, shoulders back, lift the chin. And as you exhale, around the spine, round, and slowly move the bum towards your heels. Come back into giant pose, okay? Let's do it 2 more times. Inhale, arch, drop the belly button, shoulders back, lift the chin. As you exhale, round and round and round, sit on the heels. Good, and one more time. Inhale, arch. As you exhale, round and round and round. And with the next breath, downward facing dog, tuck your toes under. Keep your knees a little bit bent at the beginning. Try to sit on the wall behind you. Imagine someone pulling your buttocks backwards. Turn your elbow crease pointing towards each other and just straighten one leg. Straighten your other leg. You don't have to reach the floor with your hips. And move your bum a little bit to the right, to the left. Lengthen the legs, lengthen the side, the armpits. Make sure your back of the neck is relaxed, okay? Just kind of hanging your head. You can shake your head, nod your head, whatever feels good. Nice. Stay there for a breath. Freestyle downward facing dog. Just really do what is the best for your body. Just feel it, just sense it, and place your knees on the floor. Now we will stay in this position so we can place something underneath your knee. I have a blanket prepared here. So keep a blanket underneath your knees because we will stay here for quite a long time. And because we start to strengthen the muscles in the back, now we will start to work on the right side because we are in the theoretical situation that the muscles on the right side of the spine are a little bit less developed. So lift the right leg behind you, flex your right foot, right toes pointing, and other side, left side. Happen as you're lifting your right leg, you see I immediately drop my lower back. Imagine you have a super tight trouser on you, a jeans, and you want to zip up this trouser. So move your belly button a little bit in and up. You're zipping up this invisible trouser. Now your abs are nice and engaged. Right toes towards the floor. And as you exhale, lift your right hip, turning your right toes toward the side. Feel free to check. Okay. And lower down. And again, imagine you opening or lifting a lid of a box. And lower down. You might start to feel your hamstrings, the back of the thigh, the buttocks, lower back, middle back. They are working, all of these muscles working. And again, lift. As you see, my shoulders are not moving. I really try to isolate the movement and concentrate. I'm lifting the right hip and turning your toes. And let's do it one more time. Keep zipping up your invisible trouser and open the lid. And release. Beautiful. If you want, come into child pose. If you want to do a couple of cat and cow pose. So we will work 2 times on the right side and 1 time on the left. If your muscles are okay in the back, I mean they are balanced, work, let's say, 7 or 8 times on one side and 7 or 8 times on the other side. If 5 times is not enough for you, feel free to do it a little bit more, 10 or whatever is your number. Nice. Now lift the left leg, zip up, and again flex the left foot and lift the lid. Try to isolate the movement, not moving the shoulder, not moving the upper body. And again, hips are leveled. And again, hips out of level, the alignment, and lower. And 3 more times. And make sure your head is not hanging, by the way. The spine is long, okay? 2 more times. Lift, 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 lift. And back. And lift. And back. Beautiful. Stay there for a moment. If you want to practice child pose, feel free. I want to finish as quick as possible because it's super not comfortable. So lift the right leg, flex the right foot, zip up, and again. Point your right toes to the side and back. Point your right toes. If you're not sure, you can tape yourself, okay? Or you can use a mirror just at the beginning, as long as you are not sure how it feels, or ask someone at home. And back 2 more times. Ask someone to have a look that your alignment is right or not. Or just check yourself in a mirror, or again, grab your phone and record yourself. It's really handy. Lift and lower. Beautiful. Both knees on the floor. Inhale, drop the belly button, leave the chin. And as you exhale, round and round and round. Come back into the all-4 position, and now we are keeping the hands, the palms, the fingertips on the floor. So from all-4 position, you're walking it forward, 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 and we try to drop the chest to the floor. If you want, of course, again, you can use the brick underneath your hands. And lower the chest towards the floor. Maybe your head is hanging in the air. Don't hold the head. Make the neck super relaxed. Maybe forehead on the floor. Maybe chin on the floor. And try to reach the floor with the chest. Again, I really love to have teeny tiny micro movements in postures. So if you want to move the buttocks a little bit to the right, to the left, to stretch the right side, stretch the left side a little bit more, but teeny tiny movements, okay? Millimeters. 2 more breaths here. Last breath. And slowly release. Come back into all-4 position. The next pose will be very similar, but we add some extras. So, strengthen the right side first. Extend your right leg. Zip up. And stay there for 5 breaths. This is your version 1. If you want to practice version 2, extend your left arm forward. Keep zipping up your invisible trouser. Stay there for 5 breaths. Version 3, as you exhale, crunch, round the spine. Inhale, extend. Crunch, extend. Let's do it 2 more times. because probably whoever is practicing version 1 staying in the pose for a long time now. And crunch and lengthen. Lower your hands and knees on the floor. Exactly the same on the other side. Choose version 1 or 2 or 3. I will practice version 3, but feel free to practice version 1. Stay like this, keep zipping up, hips leveled, or arm is straight, or breathe in, and as you exhale, crunch. Inhale. As you exhale, crunch. And again. And crunch. Imagine someone pulling your wrist and the ankle towards the two opposite directions. 2 more times. Anytime you feel free to rest, feel free to relax if anything is getting too much. And last time. And hands and knees on the floor. Have a little break, moment. And other side. Last time, back to the right side. Again, choose version 1, 2, 3, zip up, and have 5 breaths. Lengthen, someone pulling the wrist, pulling the ankle. Keep zipping up the invisible trouser. Your right hip point pointing towards the floor, hips are leveled. Nice. And again, exhaling out. 2 more times. Beautiful. Hands and knees on the floor. Come back into child pose. Rest, relax a little bit. In child pose, open your knees a little bit wider. Big toes touch. And find the right position for the arms for you. And from there, let's move into downward facing dog. Again, just move, just walk a little bit in your down dog. Feel free to move the bum to one side and the other side. And the next pose will be side plank. I will show you lots of options, and again, please choose whichever is the best for you. The easiest way to come into side plank, to come into plank position, and from there lower your heels to the left and lift your right arm up. 2 feet on the floor or the 2 feet on top of each other. That's your option. Now, if you feel no way I can do this, you can do forearm side plank, which means I'm moving the blanket underneath my forearm because I have a little bit bony elbow, and keeping my both knees bent in a way that you see my whole body is in one line. And just bending my knees, and still I can draw a line from the head towards your knees. My elbow is underneath my shoulder. Version 1, if you don't have too much muscle strength, in this case keep 1 foot on the floor and you lift the bum, the left side of the floor. Of course you can add your arm and lower down. You can keep the right leg straight, the top leg straight, and you can do the same, lift and lower them. Or you can keep the 2 knees bent and again lift and lower down. Now I'm showing it on the left side, which exactly is not the side we want to lengthen. So let's do on the other side. Because officially I have overbuilt muscles on the left side, so we start to work, strengthen the right side first. So on the right side I will do the forearm version, and if you want, come with me, practice this way or this way, or on the other side maybe I will practice the different version just in case you can see how it works. So again, make sure you are not sitting back, You still zipping up your invisible trapdoor, and as you inhale, lift and lower. Okay, you're lifting this point. Lift and lower, and again keep zipping up. Lift, keep the nice line, and lower. You try to reach the sky with this point, and lift and lower, and again lift. If you don't feel too much, you can practice more time. So that was the right side. We strengthened the right side. Now let's move to the left. And again, the whole body is a nice straight line. You can practice this way. Actually, now I change just in case you can see how it works. And again, lift. I'm not sitting back. I'm not moving forward. I'm not doing this. Everything is in one line. And lower down. I'm lifting my right hip up. And lower. If it's too much, foot front of you. And lift. And lower. And again, 2 more times. Lift. Oh, Simon, sorry. And lower. And 1 more time. Lift. And lower. Beautiful. Good. Now let's do 1 more time on the right side. As I promised, now I try to practice the side plank variation. Again, if you do this way, hand underneath your shoulder, again, maybe both feet on the floor or the 2 feet on top of each other. And exactly the same story, lower and lift and lower and lift. 3 more times, lower and lift, lower and lift. And last time, lower and lift, and slowly release. Just lie down on your front. Place your hands underneath your forehead. Move the bum a little bit to the right, to the left. And with the next position, again we are going back to strengthening, strengthening the muscles. Okay, so if you're ready for the next pose, keep your arms in the cactus position. What does it mean? You have a right angle between the forearm and the upper arm, and between the upper arm and the body. Okay, so it's like, looks like a cactus. Okay. And now forehead on the floor. And as you're breathing in, just first let's try. Lift your elbows, lift your hands, and squeeze the shoulder blade. Try to lift your elbows. We are not moving back towards the body, we're just lifting up. Keep the right angle between the body and the upper arm. Okay, lift and squeeze the shoulder blade. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And lower down. Let's do it 1 more time. Lift the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep your arms parallel to the floor and lower down. If you do exactly the same time, just lifting the head and the chest. If it's too much, please keep everything on the floor, I mean body on the floor, and work with the arms only, okay? So as you inhale, lift the elbows, lift your hands, lift the chest, lift your head, and stay there for 5 breaths. This is your version 2. If that's available, you can reach your arms forward, turn your palms towards each other, and back to cactus arm. If you need to rest, lower the chest, lower your head. Otherwise, stay up and just lengthen and bend. Press your feet into the floor. That helps you lift the chest even higher. And lengthen and bend. Let's do it 2 more times. If you need to rest, please rest. And bend. And 1 more time. And bend. And lower everything on the floor. Just a really quick stretch. Extend your right arm to the side. If you don't feel too much in the pose, bend your right elbow. Bend your left knee and roll towards the right arm. And we just stay there for a really short time, just a couple of breaths. As you exhale, imagine someone pulling your left knee back. As you inhale, release a little bit. And again. Nice. 2 more breaths there. Find your breath. And change the side. Roll back onto the front. And now extend the left arm to the side or keep your left elbow bent, still in cactus position. And bending your right knee and lowering the right foot behind you as you are rolling towards the left arm. Again, just a couple of breaths here. Because this practice concentrates on the back muscles and this is stretching the front of the chest or the front of the shoulder. It depends on the position of your arm. So we won't stay here for too long, but I love this pose. It's so beautiful. Stay there for a breath or two, just because you deserve it. And roll back onto your front, slowly. And come into child pose. Press your palms into the floor next to the chest. Come into child pose and this time keep your arms alongside of your body. And from child pose, slowly move into downward facing dog. In downward facing dog this time, turn your right toes towards the right. Keep your right heel on the floor, right leg straight, bend your left knee a little bit. You still want to sit on the wall behind you, so still move the buttocks backwards and shift your bum a little bit to the left, okay? You're lengthening, stretching the right side. Keep your palm flat on the floor, glued to the floor. Your neck is still relaxed. You don't need to strain your neck. Stay there for a breath. Push your buttocks back and tilt a little bit to the side. Lengthen the right side. And opposite direction. Turn your left toes out, let's say 45 degrees, left leg straight. And as you're bending your right knee, sitting back, sitting on the wall, and move the bum a little bit to the right. 2 breaths there. Just enjoy what you do. Stay there for a breath. And back to downward facing dog. And with teeny tiny steps, walk your feet towards your hands. If that's available, keep your legs straight. If not, don't worry too much. Keep your feet hip distance apart. Soften your knees a little bit, just a little bit. Grab your elbows and allow your upper body just to hang. Feel free to swing your upper body to the right, to the left. Keep your elbows soft. Keep your neck relaxed. Head is heavy, facial muscles soft. Everything is super soft, super relaxed. Just stretch a little bit the muscles around the spine. One more breath there. And slowly release, hands on your hips and come up into standing. Take your time. Nice. And now with the next breath, keep your feet hip distance apart and grab the left wrist with the right hand. We will stretch the left side of the body. Lift your arms up and pull your hand towards the sky and a little bit back. Now as we are moving the arm back, that could happen that we start to arch the back. So instead of doing this, keep zipping up your invisible trouser, activating the center. Reach the sky, move your hand a little bit back, and as you exhale, lean a little bit towards the right. So you are lengthening, you're stretching the muscle in the left side of your body. I'm not moving back, I'm not moving forward. I try to stay in a nice straight line. Doesn't matter how deep you are in the position. Just exhale out. Just imagine the muscles in the left side of your body. And as you exhale, just give them a little break. Just lengthen them, just stretch them. Just sending a little extra love. Stay there for 2 more breaths. Don't push and pull anything, just stay. Always find the edge when you feel something, but you are still able to breathe. 1 more breath there. And slowly come back to the center. Release your arms. Stay there for a moment. Just watch what do you feel in the right side, in the left side. Nice. And now let's work on the other side. So now grab the right wrist with the left hand, zip up, and lift your arm up, a little bit higher up and a little bit back. And now we are lengthening the opposite side, the right side. If you are wondering, and stay there for 5 breaths. If you are wondering, no, I'm not moving my right hip to the side. I keep it centered. I try to concentrate stretching the muscles in the upper body only. Just breathe, just lengthen, just soften. Keep the center active and make sure you're not over stretching the knees. You always have a little bend in your knees, just a micro bend in your knees. 2 more breaths there. Stay there for a breath. Nice. And slowly come back to the center. Change the grab of your hands. And again, zip up your invisible trouser. Lift your left wrist up and a little bit back. And towards the side. 5 breaths there. And again, you might find a little bit more ease now because you do it second time. You don't need to push and pull anything. Always just stay in the position which is comfortable for you. When you feel something, but not overdoing anything. Stay there for 2 more breaths. Last inhale. And slowly bring your body back to the center, release your arms, open your knees just a fraction wider, soften your knees, and as you exhale, just turn your body towards each direction, arms just dangling on the 2 sides. Everything is soft. And we have 1 more strengthening pose to left to go, and after I promise we go and stretch a little bit more. So now if you are ready, let's prepare chair in front of us. I keep this here just in case you will need it, and I would like to show you just in case you need some extra support. If you don't need it, please just forget it. So in this position again, exactly we will strengthen the muscles. Everything is the same, the ideas are the same. You're zipping up your invisible trouser, keeping your center active. Shift your body weight on the left foot. Keep your right foot flexed. You can kind of dangle your right leg. We will strengthen the muscles on the right side. Arms alongside of your body, and you start to lift the leg, lift, lift, lift. And at one point your body will join. I'm not doing this. So as you see, I'm immediately losing my balance. So I'm keeping the center active, keeping the back muscles super active, super strong. And ta-da! We are in the pose, version 1. If you need a little support because your balance is not really comfortable to be in a balancing pose, keep your chair. Even if is a chair a little bit too low, so if you tend to do like this, you will do nothing. These muscles are not doing too much. So make sure the back muscles working. If you want, you can just grab the wall or grab a table or whatever is comfortable for you. Make sure keeping the muscles active. Let's move into version 1, and after immediately into version 2 or version 3, choose your posture and practice this pose regarding the needs of your body or the opportunities of the body. So again, zip up, then go your right leg, start to lift your right leg, keep zipping up, back muscles working, you are version 1, stay there for 5 breaths. If that's comfortable, keep your hips level. If that's comfortable, reach your arms forward, basically you are in warrior 3 and stay there. If you stay comfortable, breathe in, and as you exhale, crunch. Exactly the same as we done in all 4 positions. And lengthen. And crunch. And lengthen. And crunch. And lengthen. One more time. Crunch. And lengthen. And slowly release. Stay there for a breath. And let's do the same on the other side. Now again, keep zipping up. Shift the body weight on the right leg. Left leg is able to tangle. And lift the left leg. Keep the back muscles active. Stay in version 1 for 5 breaths or more. Stay in version 2 or 5 breaths or more. Or version 3. Crunch. And lengthen. And crunch. Lengthen someone pulling your wrist and your ankle. And lengthen. 2 more times. Actually, I was thinking maybe practicing version 2 is even more difficult. And release. Because when I do the crunch, I give a little time for the muscles to relax. Interesting. It just popped into my mind. So let's do one more time on the right side. Strengthen the muscles on the right side. And now I will stay in warrior 2, and I will tell you at the end that it was more difficult or more easy. So, zip up. And again. Stay in version 1, hips leveled, or version 2, or version 3. And 4 more breaths. Yes, it's definitely more challenging. And 3 more breaths there. Beautiful. Oh my God, I'm shaking now. And 2 more breaths. Beautiful. Last breath there. And slowly release. Beautiful. And as you exhale, soften your knees. Bend your knees a little bit, folding forward. Interlace the fingers behind the neck. And bring your elbows close to each other. Knees a little bit bent. Arms heavy. And again, stay as you are or dangle. And exhale out. Nice. Lower your fingertips on the floor. And as I promised, no more strengthening pose, just a little twist, and after we are done. So just lie down on your back. So just lie down on your back. And bring your knees next to the chest just for a couple of moments. Feel free to roll side to side, draw circles with your knees, whatever feels good. And we will twist before Shavasana. Okay, so if you want, you can just drop your knees and practice exactly the same pose as we started the practice. Or cross the left knee on the top of the right one. Move the pelvis a little bit to the left side and lower your knees to the right. If you want to practice Garudasana legs, hook your toes behind the calf, you are more than welcome. And open your arms nice and wide and turn your head towards the opposite direction wherever your knee is pointing. And stay there. You don't have to hook your toes, simply just keep the two legs crossed, simply just keep the two knees on top of each other, that's perfectly fine. Always find the posture which allows you to breathe, where you feel something, but you are still able to breathe. Because if you practice a version 2 or 3, but you just struggle, you are not able to breathe, is not beneficial. But if you are practicing a posture when you feel nothing, it's not beneficial either. So you need to feel, and you need to be able to breathe in the same time. Stay there for 2 more breaths. Again, feel free to stay a little bit longer in this pose if it's beneficial for you. Wherever your knee is pointing, you're always turning your head towards the opposite direction. And bring your knees back to the center. Keep back to the center. Stay there for a moment, for a breath in the center, neutralizing the spine. And again, drop your knees on the other side or close the right leg on the top of the left. Move your pelvis a little bit to the right and lower your knees to the left side. Now I show you on this side. I didn't show on the other side because my arm wasn't visible. If you find yourself in a position like this, so your right shoulder is super lifted, what you can do, draw big circles with your right arm, and then your elbow traveling towards the floor, exhale out, exhale out, exhale out, and allow to come closer and closer to the floor, and again. And do it 2, 3, 4 times. Exhale super long. And always work with the long exhale. That helps you to deepen the position. And if you found your pose, stay there for 2, 3, 4 breaths, as much as feels good. Just breathe and enjoy that all of these muscles on the right side, lengthening, softening. Use your exhale to soften even more. And slowly bring your knees back to the center. Perfect. And bring your knees next to the chest. And you have 2 options. Simply just come into Shavasana. Shavasana is the last relaxation position when you're just lying down on your back. Or if you want to have a little extra in your Shavasana, you can have a little ball. I'm not asking you to use a tennis ball because probably the tennis ball is too big, so it's a little bit too much for the muscles. I have this little ball, it's sized like a ping pong ball, but it's made from rubber, so it's quite, it's still flexible, still kind of soft-ish, but it's rigid. If you don't have this, you can be creative. Look, I have this. It looks like a soap, isn't it? It's obsidian, so it's super hard, so I can use a fabric on the top. But again, just be creative. If you have a soap, bar of soap or soap bar, anyway, so if you have soap at home, use this little ball or use the soap and place it underneath the muscle which is more developed. Because we are working with the theoretical situation that the left side is more developed, I place it, and you know that it's developed more here or here or here, or the whole length of the muscle. So we are not placing it behind the vertebrae. is not underneath my spine, is on the muscle. On the muscle where I want a little bit more stretch. It's the left side this time. So I place it underneath underneath the erector spinae. Actually, let's use the fabric to make it a little bit softer. And hopefully your soap bar will survive. Always when you choose props, always just be creative. Now, in this position, really honestly, because I have arch in my lower back, maybe your lower back is super flat, so you feel a lot already, because you just stay here. Because I have an arch in the lower back, actually it's almost the same size as like this soap bar. What I can do, I can really gently bring my left knee closer to the chest. So you have a little extra pressure, just a little extra pressure. And if you don't feel, you still don't feel too much, you can slowly straighten the right leg. So that's optional, and just stay there for 3 or 4 breaths or 5 breaths. And when you're ready for this 3 or 4 or 5 breaths, you are moving your ball or your bar a little bit further up. And again, stay there for 4 or 5 breaths, and again move a little bit further up. So we are traveling through the whole spine. We are working with this big muscle. So find again the next position after the lower back a little bit further up. Actually, it's not too bad without the fabric, so I just stay like this. And as you are moving further up, you don't need to bring the knee next to the chest because the upper back is even more flat. So here, when you are working with the upper body, is more important. If you feel the tension is too much, just release a little bit. Just lift a little bit up, tilting the hip, and very slowly, gently lower down. And if you feel, okay, that's enough, stay. And maybe after a couple of breaths, you can lower more, you can add more weight. Or more weight. That's why I was saying if you practice with a tennis ball, it's probably too much, it's a little bit too harsh. Even if the soap bar is too high for you, you just fold a blanket, fold a little towel, just a little hand towel or something, and keep it just a little elevation. And again, stay there 4 or 5 breaths, and after move further up, and again stay there for 4 or 5 breaths. And when you finished, when you traveled through the whole spine on the left side, or if you have overdeveloped muscles on the right side, then work on the right side. And when you finished, just remove the elevation and come into Shavasana. Just close your eyes. Have a nice deep inhale through your nose, exhale out through your mouth, and just stay there for a couple of breaths. Thank you very much for sharing the practice. I hope it was beneficial for you. If you have any questions, any comments, feel free to let me know underneath the video or send me a private message and I will answer. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful day.